Hello and welcome to my final video that I'll be doing for the Americas, which is my top 10 list. This series, I'll be honest, didn't have too many moments that really stood out to me as being amazing. There was a couple, so here's the 10 sequences that I just liked the best. So at number 10, I've got the Florida pond snail. Again, snails aren't animals that really stand out as being easy protagonists. They're a bit disgusting, but this sequence did a really good job of showing you the snail's perspective. It was pretty high octane watching them escape from the snail kites. So yeah, it wasn't a sequence that I was really expecting to think very much of, but by the end of the series, it was one of the sequences that really stood out to me the most. It's been quite unique, so I quite like that. At number 9, I've got the caribou. So the caribou sequence kind of set a trend for this series. There was a lot of sequences in this series where a young animal would go missing from its parents, it looked like it wouldn't find them again, and it would. And because we saw so many of them, it became a bit repetitive. However, this was the first one that we saw, and it was actually really good. It was very different, because while the calf does make it back to his mum, it takes a long time. It does show you that while this sequence has a happy ending, this probably doesn't happen very often. And I genuinely did think that the calf wouldn't find his mum again. Like, I did feel the tension. I feel like we get a lot of sequences in series that are a bit like this, but don't have this tension. So the fact that this sequence did have tension really made it stand out, so I quite like that as well. At number 8, I've got the honeypot ants. I did know about this, but they did a very good job of making them seem almost extraterrestrial. The music was quite ethereal, and again, it was really interesting. Again, it's not something you see very often. I like how they spent quite a lot of time with the ants in the drought, and yeah, I just thought it was pretty cool. The whole sequence, right away from showing you their weird abdomens, which are obviously full of sugar, to them actually flying off at the end, was quite good. It did a good job of showing you ant society, so I quite enjoyed that as well. At number 7, I've got the orcas hunting seals. So this was the final sequence of the series, and it was pretty good. Again, we've seen this sequence before. We've seen orcas beaching themselves to hunt seals and sea lions, but it was very rare to actually show you them teaching their young how to do it, and it was quite fun. It was quite endearing, actually, watching the young orcas beach themselves and not really know what to do when they did find a seal, and the seal also being pretty clueless because it was also young. So that was really good. Again, it put a new spin on an old sequence, which has always been pretty good. As much as we have seen that sequence a lot over the years, it's never been boring to me. But adding a new spin on it, it does help keep it fresh. So I enjoyed that as well. I thought it was pretty good. Number 6, I've got the rays. So this isn't an animal you see very often. I can't really think of another sequence that deals with rays. And the fact that we see so much of them, so much interesting behaviour. And the dad actually adopting the other chick as well was really nice. Really cool. And didn't really expect that. And yeah, I enjoyed that as well. Number 5, I've got the giant Pacific octopus. So this was another sequence that was pretty good. We had seen this before in life, but again, it'd been a while, so it was good to see an update on that. And we got a bit more of it. We saw a bit more of the octopus before it entombs itself to look after its young. And again, well, it might not have been as quite as emotional as the one in life, it still was emotional. So I like that. Again, pretty good stuff. Number 4, I've got the sperm whales. So this was a really good sequence, showing the sperm whales diving and then hunting for squid. Was really good. I think this might have been higher if I hadn't seen it already in mammals. They did hype up how unique this was, how it had never been filmed before, even though it already had. But still really good stuff. It was probably more in depth than the one we got in mammals, and we are one step closer to getting actual footage of sperm whales hunting giant squid. Maybe it'll happen one day, probably not. Number 3, I've got the rattlesnakes. So the rattlesnakes stood out to me quite a bit. It was one of the early sequences in the series that I thought, that was really good. It was really interesting showing a more emotional side of rattlesnakes. The mother basically starving herself to look after her eggs, and then later on her hatchlings. It was really cool. Again, it was added a little tender side to rattlesnakes, because usually they are the baddies in most sequences, and even in fiction they're usually baddies. So it was nice to get another side of them. So again, very good stuff as well. Number 2, I've got the salmon. So the salmon run is something we've seen, again, many times before, but very rarely from the salmon's perspective. I like how we got shots actually in the water showing you what it was like to be the salmon. The fact that we show the salmon rotting, again, it's something we always see, but we never really deal with in too much detail. And again, it just added another layer. I think salmon are very easy to just kind of not really care about, because we care more about the predators that eat them generally. So it was nice to see their perspective. Number 1, my favourite part of the series is the blue whales. Blue whales look really good anyway, so I'm always kind of entertained when I do see them. But seeing them do something else is just quite interesting. Watching them interact and breaching as well. Again, you think of whales breaching and you think, okay, of course they do that. But blue whales are just so massive that it is quite difficult to imagine how much force you need to actually get that body out of the water. Really cool stuff. And again, I think because this series didn't have a lot of really amazing sequences, the fact that it was an animal that I've seen many times before, that is very iconic, that I really do enjoy seeing on screen, just do something different, I think just elevates it so much more than it maybe would have done in another series. So yeah, that's my number 1. So yeah, this series is, as I've said, alright. It's not as good as it could have been, I don't think. I definitely had higher expectations. Overall, I think Tom Hanks did a pretty good job of his narration, though he was cheesy sometimes. I think that's just a difference between British and American narrators, and maybe being someone from Britain, that is maybe something I just have a hard time getting used to. It was very well filmed, just not a lot of sequences that really blew me away, I don't think, which is pretty disappointing, considering there was 10 episodes of this, and there was definitely a bias towards the United States. I think pretty much 5 of the episodes in the series did heavily deal with the US. And to be honest, there's a lot of other parts of the Americas that I would have liked to see more of. But ultimately, it is an American production, so I understand why they did that. But overall, yeah, it's good. And should you watch it? Yeah, probably. Especially if you're from America, I think this is definitely one for you. But yeah, this is the last video I'll be doing for this series, so let me know what you want me to talk about next. I feel like it'll probably be Frozen Planet 2. I might give it a bit before reviewing it. I might take a couple weeks off, so just hold your horses if you do care. If not, then fair play. And yeah, let me know in the comments below what you thought of my list. Did you agree with me? What did you think of the series overall? Let me know. And yeah, as ever, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, or don't if you don't want to. Perfectly fine. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.